99X and the Morning X. Barnes and Leslie hanging out with the legendary concert promoter Peter Conlon, hanging out in studio. Music Midtown is coming up the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And you can get $99 one-day tickets up through the 14th. Don't sleep on it. Peter, what is with, you think, the nostalgia movement? What drove that?
What do you mean?
Just how all these bands like Toad the Wet Sprocket or Gin Blossoms or all these 90s and 00 bands are having such a huge resurgence. And what about 99X? It's all tied together. What pushed that nostalgia movement, you think, to happen?
You know, I've seen it happen generationally. You know, we went through it with the 70s and with the 60s. People hit a certain point of their life where they want to relive an experience they had. And those bands hit a chord with them, whether they remember it at the prom or in high school or even in college. It hits a chord with them, and that they go to relive that.
It's just been amazing because it was happening 3 years ago. You started seeing, like, I mentioned Toad the Wet Sprocket again because I was seeing them sell out these 4,000 and 5,000 seaters just out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, the other bands hear about it and they start getting on the road. It's been very cool.
It's also cool to see, bands say like Depeche Mode or The Cure, just saying they're having the best tours of their entire career. That really says something. So, Peter, we want to get into the nitty-gritty here. We want to know, like, some good stuff and some dirt. Like, first and foremost, who's the coolest rock star that you've ever met or had a relationship with?
Well, I guess it depends. I need to find rock star, There's a lot I consider friends, Michael Stipe's one. He's a great guy, Bono. They're all unique. They're different than us because they're rock stars. And, like somebody told me a long time ago, which was very good advice in this business, there are no real friends in the music business.
Well, you've definitely had relationships with people like that. And Bono does seem like someone who is, he also gives back, but someone who's really cool.
Yeah, he is. He's a nice man. And Stipe, I've known them forever. And REM guys, they were great. And they're probably ethically one of the really great bands. They never embraced sponsorship. They said they wouldn't. They turned down millions of dollars. I mean, they were all about music and their fans, and they're really decent guys.
That's true.
What has happened to rock? It seems like rock has had a bad run in the last little bit. There's not a lot of new great music. I know there is new music. I'm just saying rock seems to have changed.
Well, it's kind of what happened when you lost the guitar. I mean, you don't hear guitar in music anymore. I mean, it's, the real driving genre of music right now is hip-hop, I mean, if you look at the big arena sales and a lot of the music, it's all hip-hop based. There aren't as many big rock bands happening as there used to be.
What would it take to get that back? Who could be the next Nirvana? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who could push that?
Well, I'm sure they're out there. It all breaks differently now, as you all know in your business. It used to be all over radio, and with the record companies. And they would push a certain record, and it doesn't happen that way anymore. I remember George Capolini calling me about this band called Guns N' Roses and saying, you got to come down to Albany, they're rehearsing, you need to see, they're going to be huge. And I drove down there to see them, and they were opening for...
I remember seeing them open for The Cult.
Yeah, they were opening for Motley on that run. I went to see them rehearsal, and they were fantastic.
We talk about, 90s alternative, but there is a resurgence of 90s rock with bands like Nickelback who are doing record numbers, and there's this fusion of, rock and country, because Nickelback will play and he'll take out, they will take out a Brantley Gilbert, and then Jelly Roll comes out and plays with them, and Jason Aldean. So it does seem like a lot of those guitars went over to country, and now they're both coming together in a big way. I'm starting to see that happen a lot.
Yeah, there's not, country isn't really country from what it used to be. When I think country, I used to work with Johnny Cash and work with Willie Nelson, but you're seeing some of that with the Chris Stapleton and you know. But a lot of the country is got more of a rock bent, you know.
Well, Keith Urban could play in any rock band you point him to. I mean,
or you got an Eric Church, you know. I mean, it's very close in that line there. So there's much more guitar-driven music in country than there is in rock music right now.
Leslie mentioned a hot word, Nickelback. How do you explain the phenomenon of a band being so universally hated on the street, just in, word of mouth, but sell out every damn show they have?
Yeah, we're going to sell out Ameris here.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, because they have a fan base. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people who get them, and there's some people who don't. I mean, but it's obviously they've got a fan base that gets them, and that's what supports them.
They write catchy songs that are a little harder. I mean, I don't dislike or hate Nickelback. It always baffles me when you see the punches thrown, like someone like that, or Creed, which Creed kind of did it to themselves. I mean, Nickelback didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, yeah, that Nickelback show was huge, Peter. I went to it here in Nashville at Bridgestone, and I will say those fans were up and singing every word to every song the entire night. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's something that developed, and there's a lashback to it too, because it just hardens their fan base against that, and it builds it somewhat.
What are some of the legendary writer stories that you carry around with you? Because I know you probably don't see many band writers anymore, and I don't know if they're as extravagant the writers as they used to be. But what are some of the couple top stories of crazy ones?
Well, yeah, it used to be. I used to process the contracts. It was just me and Alex. I'd read them, whatever. I haven't seen a contract in years.
Yeah,
because now we got lawyers do it all. But there were some strange. Once Alex, it bothered him on how much we were spending on a band on liquor, so he sat down and he added up all the quantities of what they wanted in a dressing room, and he figured it out. And it would have taken something like 200 people 2 days to drink everything they were asking for. The famous one is the Van Halen brown M&Ms.
Yes.
Oh yeah, legendary.
Which was actually a joke. Van Halen put it in there to see if people were going to read the rider and complain about it, and that way they would know that they were reading the rider. And they got to the halls, and there weren't any brown M&Ms in their bowls because people had all hired somebody to do it.
What about from the 90s? Any alternative bands, any 99X bands that you can think of that were like, oh, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
No, off the top of my head, I don't have any horror stories.
Or tantrums backstage, or fighting?
No, I mean, I had... Oasis.
There you go.
Oh, hot button.
I would have guessed that.
R.E.M. invited me to go to Slane Castle with them to watch them play in Ireland one year. And Oasis was the opening act. And I was watching, and before they went their set, the two brothers were slugging it out in the wings.
It's true.
Actually having a fist fight before they got on stage.
These guys.
This isn't going to work.
What about Police over the years? Ever any yelling and screaming with them? Because man, they hated each other.
No. I mean, Sting's really a low-key guy. I never saw any.
The videos I've seen of them where they're just yelling at each other. Stuart Copeland and Sting, and just like, you suck. No, you suck. That sucks. That riff sucks.
They were never. Yeah, I've heard of that, but no. Sting himself is a great guy. And
he is. Very zen.
Yeah, we got him sold out in Chastain next month. Yeah.
Well, let's get this ticket info out again. It's going to expire on the 14th. Leslie, how do we get a $99 ticket?
This is really cool. Of course, the word you need to use is freeloader, and you get the $99 ticket. Again, Friday, September 15th, you've got Pink. Saturday, what a lineup: Billie Eilish, the 1975, Niall Horan, and then Sunday, the 17th, Guns N' Roses. Wow, Incubus. The list goes on and on. Music Midtown. What a stellar lineup, Peter. Congratulations.
Thanks. Guns is going to close with a 3-hour set. So
damn.
Wow.
It's going to be a great show.
Great weekend to come. Peter, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
It was really good seeing y'all.
It's Peter Conlon, Music Midtown. Are you ready?
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie.
99X.